Israel is waging a war on two fronts. The military stepped up its offensive on Lebanon, targeting Hezbollah, an ally of Iran. A series of airstrikes on Beirut has killed at least 10 people and wounded dozens more. Israeli forces and the United States have continued to bombard Iran in the coming hours. Funerals will be held for the two senior security officials killed on Tuesday. Iran has responded to the killing of Ali Larijani and Gholam Reza Soleimani by launching a wave of attacks against Israel. At least 2 people have been killed in Tel Aviv. Strikes, meanwhile, have continued across the Gulf. Bahrain, Kuwait, Qatar, Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates have all reported intercepting drones and missiles. Well, we're going to be taking you live this hour to our correspondents in Dubai, Tehran and Ramallah. But first of all, let's speak to Zeina Khodr, who is in Beirut. Zeina, several strikes in the capital overnight, including a possible targeted strike. What more can you tell us about this?
Well, undoubtedly, this latest confrontation between Israel and Hezbollah, there's been a marked escalation. 5 strikes to target central Beirut in the span of just a few hours. We are at the site of one of those strikes. Behind me used to be a 12-story building, home to families, now totally destroyed. This particular strike came with a warning. The Israeli military issuing a warning in the early hours of the morning before that strike came in and demolished the building. And as you can see, we are in the center of the capital. The other 4 strikes, we came without warning. Apartments were targeted in residential buildings in densely populated areas. The death toll has now climbed to 10 killed, 27 injured. We do not know who the targets were in those strikes, but for many it was a sleepless night in the capital with the sound of those explosions. The escalation following an escalation on the front lines in the south of the country. Hezbollah firing rockets across the border, continuing to do so despite repeated Israeli warnings that they will respond disproportionately as long as those rockets continue to be launched. We heard from Hezbollah's Secretary General Naim Asim yesterday, remaining very much defiant, saying that, Hezbollah will continue this fight as long as Israel's attacks continue, as long as the hundreds of thousands of people who have been displaced from their homes cannot return to their homes, and as long as the Israeli military stays in Lebanon. The Israeli military has been controlling up to 10 square kilometers of Lebanese territory over the past 2 years, despite the ceasefire. And as of late, they have been advancing from multiple axes along the border as they push deeper inside Lebanon. So a ground battle underway in the border. Here, there's no front line, no red lines. People are concerned, especially in the capital, worried about where this conflict is going, with no really end in sight, as the warring sides sticking to their positions. The Israeli military wants Hezbollah to disarm, Hezbollah refusing to do so, the Lebanese state committing itself to do that, but saying they can't do that in wartime conditions.
Zeina, thank you. Zeina Khodr there in Beirut. Let's get from there in Beirut to Ramallah and the occupied West Bank, because Nida Ibrahim is live for us there. Nida, now these strikes and Israel's ground invasion were actually launched after strikes on Iran began, and they've encountered quite a serious amount of resistance from Hezbollah. Does that surprise the Israelis?
Well, it did surprise the Israelis, who have been saying that they had undermined the power of Hezbollah, and now they are releasing estimates that say that the party has weapons that could reach long ranges, long distances, including a missile that has been used yesterday. According to the Israeli army, it has been intercepted. But they talk about Hezbollah owning hundreds of these missiles, in addition to thousands of other missiles that are short and mid-range. This would allow the party to keep bombarding the communities in northern Israel, as well as other parts of the Israeli geography. According to Israeli military estimates, the ground offensive that they are planning to do in Lebanon, in southern Lebanon, is not going to stop the Hezbollah missiles from reaching into Israeli territory. What it would do is stop the infiltration and possible infiltration of Hezbollah members into northern Israel, and that any attempt to strip Hezbollah of its weapons, of its ability to fire anti-tank missiles at the northern Israeli communities as well as the Israeli army positioned at the borders would only happen through a negotiated agreement with the Lebanese government, would also include the empowerment of the Lebanese army to do so. So there's also a lot of criticism among certain military experts saying that the operation inside southern Lebanon might be costly for Israel, might not achieve the results that are expected, because most of the projectiles, or a significant rather number of these projectiles that are being fired from Hezbollah, appear to be being launched from the northern Litani River, which is an area closer to central Lebanon, and that the invasion that is intended to last until the southern Litani River would not stop that threat. They also believe that there aren't many Hezbollah members in these communities south of the Litani River until the borders. So the belief that there is a growing pushback from certain military analysts. Now, Israel has backtracked on the idea of the security buffer zone, saying that this is not the intention at this point. And Israeli military sources have been telling Israeli media that the goal now is to operate in certain areas and keep the possibility open for these troops to withdraw upon a political agreement with the Lebanese government. Of course, publicly, the Israeli government has been denying the talks with Lebanese, or the initiative that has been proposed by France that there would be potentially talks. But we know that the Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has hired his confidant, Ron Dermer, who was the previous Minister of Strategic Affairs, someone who has been involved with talks with Hamas, to head the Lebanon file. So we might be looking at this situation unfolding. Now we are hearing sirens being blasted in Haifa, in Akka, and other places in northern Israel. This might be another barrage from Iran, although we've been seeing Hezbollah fire rockets into northern Israel as well, sometimes in coordinated attacks. But since midnight, we are talking about at least 4 barrages of rockets being fired from Iran. As the Iranian Revolutionary Guard said, it's a significant wave, and it comes in retaliation of the killing of the top senior Iranian officials, Ali Larijani and Ghulam Reza Soleimani.
Nida, thank you. Nida Ibrahim there in Ramallah.